Hello and welcome to our live news. I am Tanti Azal. Let's look at the headlines. Emefiele approves receipt of old Naira notes after 10th of February deadline. Stakeholders dialogue on immediate solution to endless queues. Tunisia president blames hatred of parliament for low turnout in elections. In sports, 2 MPFL clubs threaten to fire their coaches if they fail to win next 2 games. Thanks for joining. The governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, has said commercial banks must accept the old Naira notes even after the expiration of the 10th February deadline. Mr. Emefiele announced this on Tuesday while appearing before the House of Representatives ad hoc committee looking into the implementation of the policy. The CBN governor said he agrees with Section 20, subsection 3 of the CBN Act, which provides that commercial banks must accept old notes after a deadline. Mr. Emefiele said commercial banks must accept the money even after the 10th February deadline, although he had on Sunday announced 17th February as the grace period for Nigerians to deposit the money. The lawmakers are insisting that it must be months, not days. Nigerians continue to lament the hardship caused by the scarcity of petroleum products across the country as business and households that depend on generators for power supply groan in darkness. In recent weeks, motorists across Nigeria have had a hard time getting petroleum products just as commuters continue to lament the ripple effect of the scarcity as a result of skyrocketed transport fares in major cities. During the downstream stakeholders meeting held at the NNPC Towers in Abuja on Tuesday, 31st of January 2023, discussions on how to arrest the absurd situation was the focal point, even as the different stakeholders assured Nigerians of a permanent solution soon.
We have done everything possible to keep the supply or the evacuation above 60 million liters consistently. So therefore, going into the market, there is no shortage of fuel going into the market. They may be in the wrong destination. And one thing is also very practical, and I will share this with you, and this is public. Nigerian fuel is smuggled to other countries. This is not secret. And it can only be done by either all of us in this room, or people connected to us, or people buying from us. So there's no dispute around this, that our fuel gets to other countries, including in marine containers. We have evidence now, we are following this through, that some of our customers are actually taking in vessels to other countries. And we'll get to the root of this.
I think it is an issue of being patriotic toward your motherland. In addition, it is also an issue of increasing the monitoring process of the distribution. From what the group marine director has said, what we are dealing with here is the problem of distribution. And if the distribution process is lacking or it has loopholes to be exploited by those who want to exploit it, I think there is also an alternative to increase the level of monitoring and supervision. And to that effect, just like the CDS has said, I think it is the alternative. If we are invited, not even when we are invited, I think it is our role to assist the NNPC in monitoring the process of distribution, if that will give us a leadway to the problem.
On the foreign scene, looming over the deserted village of Sararo in northern Iraq, 3 Turkish military outposts break the skyline, part of an incursion that forced the residents to flee last year after days of shelling. The outposts are just some of the dozens of new military bases Turkey has established on Iraqi soil in the past 2 years as it steps up its decade-long offensive against Kurdish militants sheltered in the remote and rugged area. Turkey's advances across the increasingly depopulated border of Iraqi Kurdistan attract little global attention compared to its incursions into Syria or the battle against Islamic State. According to an official with Iraq's Kurdistan regional government, the conflict has also emptied at least 800 villages since 2015, when a ceasefire between Turkey and the PKK broke down, driving thousands of people from their homes. Tunisia's president blames ultra-low turnout for parliamentary elections on hatred among voters of the parliament, not to a decline in his own popularity. The Electoral Commission announced that only 11.4% of the electorate had voted in parliament runoffs. Critics of President Kais Saied said the empty polling stations were evidence of public disdain for his agenda and seizure of powers. Opposition party called Said to resign after what they called a huge failure, saying earlier parliamentary and presidential elections were the only route out of the crisis. Said rejected accusations, calling his critics traitors. 90% did not vote. This confirms that Tunisians no longer trust this institution. During the past decade, parliament has been an institution of absurdity and a state within a state, Said says. In sports stories, 2 Nigerian Professional Football League (NPFL) clubs, Kwara United and Wiki Tourists, may sack their coaches if they fail to do well in their next 2 games. Wiki Tourists are currently sitting at the bottom of NPFL Group B standings with just a point in 4 league games. They have managed to earn a draw and suffer 3 defeats, which makes them one of the worst NPFL clubs so far this season. The management, through the club's secretary, Idris Pali, has issued a 2-game ultimatum to the club's manager, Kabiru Dogo. Their next game in the league is a home game against former champions Akwa United on Wednesday, followed by an away game against another former champions Plateau United on Sunday. In same fate, Kwara United coach Bifo Abdullahi is condemned to win these 2 games or probably earn at least a point each from the games to secure his job. A statement from the club's general manager, Bashir Badawi, says the team has no excuse not to perform, going by the commitment of the government, the determination of the management, and the sacrifice by the supporters and stakeholders. And that is why we have decided to give the team a 2-match ultimatum. They should rather perform or give way. We are playing a dangerous league, the abridged league, and we cannot tolerate this kind of result, he added. Still on sports news. Samuel Chukwueze, a Nigerian international who currently plays for Villarreal, has been named one of the most productive players in La Liga since 2022. According to reports, Chukwueze is one of just 5 players in the top division of Spain to have double-digit goals and assists since 2022 across all competitions. The Nigerian's inclusion was expected after his remarkable performance, which was essential to Villarreal's recovery from a lackluster start to the year. The 23-year-old, who was a member of the team that won the Europa League in 2021 after defeating Manchester United in the final, has been a key player for Villarreal this season, tallying 8 goals and 7 assists across all competitions to bring his career total to 10 goals and 10 assists since January 2022. Thanks for watching. I remain Tanti Azal.